Thank you, Professor Sarnath. Thank you, Ryan and Rob Weber, for inviting me here. Really excited to be here. Really excited to share my journey as I started FieldNation and scaled that up to where it is today to share with you all. There is a deep connection with SendCloud State in that journey, and I'll explain that in a bit. But I thought to give you the context, I start with what FieldNation is. I'm pretty sure that you never heard about FieldNation. It's a B2B product. So let me explain a little bit about FieldNation. So we are the largest field services marketplace that connects businesses that need services done in the field, especially with IT and Telecom. And we connect with about 100,000 contractors in the field. And so all the way from sourcing, managing, engaging these contractors in the field, all happens through the platform. So it's sort of, I was explaining to some of the students earlier today, it's sort of like eBay, but eBay connects the buyer and seller for tangible goods, and we connect the buyers and sellers that need services done, intangible services done. So this companies, they can buy, sell, and manage all their contingent workforce using FieldNation platform. To give you an idea of the scale of our platform, we have about 100,000 contractors all over US and Canada. We are connecting them with about 1,000 service buyers. These are large enterprises, and creating over 1 million work on an annual basis. And what is so amazing to me, there are other stats there, but one of the stats that I always want to point out is that the response time. So if you create a job, a work, with the scope, schedule, and location in SendCloud or Minneapolis, you'll get a response coming back from an available, interested, and qualified technician in less than 8 minutes. That really changed the game in our space, that how quickly we can bring qualified people to deploy the technicians. I'm assuming I don't have 1 minute left, right? Okay, all right. False alert. So that's the platform. That's what really the heart of the platform. We are deploying thousands and thousands of technicians in the field. This is the coverage map. It's pretty well covered. These are the type of work that we do: networking, printer work, variety of different IT and telecom hardware. Pretty much blue everywhere. Where you see white, that means there's not enough people living in those states, Montana and Wyoming. But otherwise, we have really good coverage, very good coverage all over US. These are some of the workflow components that we have built into the platform. We can take a talent and make them either a W-2 employee or 1099 contractors. We have a built-in project management suite that allows, all the way from, finding talent, scheduling, managing the work with the talent. The entire workflow goes through the system. The risk management, like insurance tracking and so forth, the payment processing, and then obviously, at the end of the service, if there is any support needed for the customers or for the technicians, we provide that support as well. So just to give you an idea, if you go to Starbucks, McDonald's, Target, Walmart, all those retailers and their infrastructure, in-store infrastructure service, point of sales, networking, cabling, all of those, in most cases, are powered by FieldNation technicians. We don't directly work with them, but our customers that are providing the technology services, that are getting deployed through the platform. So that's my company. So let me introduce myself. So I'm a graduate of St. Cloud State, as Sarnath mentioned. I graduated from computer science in 2004. I grew up in Bangladesh, and I came here in fall of '99. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Bangladesh. It's size of Wisconsin, and it has population of half of US. So it's very, very crowded. So when I first came to the States in St. Cloud, I was really blown away. I was in love with the vastness of the land, empty land with the crop, the cornfield. I loved it. I had to wait 4 months to see the snow. I was amazed. It never stopped since then. I still love it. And but I never thought that I would start a company. I grew up. My parents. I grew up in a middle-class family where my parents both had government job, and I was taught that I had to, after getting a degree, get a good job, a secure job. But big things in life happen in a random way. So in my senior year, I got an email from Professor Sarnath saying, "Hey, there is a company in downtown getting started called eBureau, and they're looking for interns." And that was my first interview ever. And I did the interview. For whatever reason, they hired me. I was the third or the fourth employee there. And that's really where I got the entrepreneurial bug in me. And I saw the process of building product from the ground up, taking the product to the market, the strategy to scale a business, all of that. That was really, really exciting and very, very powerful for me. And so after that, I started another company, the first company I started called Technician Marketplace. And Technician Marketplace was another, is the mic still working? Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. So Technician Marketplace was another marketplace company. Unfortunately, I lost that company because of the cash flow problem. I still joke about it. It's my, most expensive MBA that I have gotten through that process. But then I started FieldNation in 2008. And you remember 2008, it's the middle of the Great Recession. And I saw there is a trend. Businesses are more looking for flexible workers. They just don't want to hire W-2s if they don't need to. They just want to hire, they have a project that needs to be done, an opportunity for the revenue, or whatever the case may be. They want to find these most qualified people within their budget, and they want to find that people, and they want to get the project done as fast as possible. And I saw the trend on the other side, millennials, driven by the millennials mostly, that they want a more flexible life, work-life balance, right? They want to pursue their passion, and that's what was happening, in 2008, in the middle of the Great Recession. So started FieldNation, and fast forward 10 years later, we're headquartered out of downtown Minneapolis. We have about 200 employees in the company. We did over 1 million work last year. We provided jobs to about 60,000 contractors all over US and Canada. And in our lifetime, we completed over 5 million jobs. This is where we started. This is northeast Minneapolis in a warehouse. It's a pet food warehouse. Also had a mattress on the side business. And then for some reason, I was hooked with some of the guys over there. They gave me a small office to work out of, and that's kind of where we started. And then I reached back out to Ryan and Rob in 2009. And although, Ryan and Rob, we went to school together in computer science, but we never really interacted when we were going to school, because by the time these guys are already successful, they're doing freeze.com, they're out of my league, right? So I kind of avoided them because they are just so successful. But then I reached out to Ryan, sort of desperately, 2009. I didn't know too many people, and we sat down. He was very, gracious to accept my meeting. We sat down. I talked about my business, and a few months later, like, hey, we are very interested. What can we do? They brought Young Sohn. Young is now the president of Samsung Electronics, and they brought Young with them. And these guys were the first angel investors in my company. And so from this very beginning, they not only provided, the very first capital really came from these three people. And they continuously, through the journey, anytime I need key talents, whether in the executive team or in the middle management or just any talent, I keep going. Even today, I go back to them for any key hiring. Oh, the sound changed. So I keep going back to them, and they keep introducing me to all these amazing talents. The VP of marketing, the head of product, the chief revenue officer, the head of our growth team, and there are many more people that came from direct introduction from Ryan and Rob. Even a couple of weeks ago, Rob called me and said, hey, I got this amazing guy. You have to hire him. And immediately I went to my chief technology officer and said, trust him, go talk to this guy, this engineer, and see if he's a good fit. After the first meeting, he came back and said, he's amazing. We don't have any opening, but we are hiring him. We just trust what they say. And it's been amazing from that standpoint. So just a quick rundown, what our journey has been. We started in 2008. We went to the pet food warehouse. We completed our first $1 million, and we were able to afford our first office in downtown Minneapolis in Flower Exchange building. And then something changed in 2014 because there was a lot of bootstrapped in terms of building the foundation of the platform. It's a marketplace, so you got to build both sides of the platform, the buy side and the demand side. And since 2014, it started to take off really, really fast. We, 2 times in 2014, 2015, we were named the fastest growing company in the US. And in 2016, we stopped applying for it, just for the record. In 2015, we raised $30 million from Susquehanna Growth Equity. So remember, in 2009, we raised our first angel round, $200,000. And fast forward, there was no money in between, right? And then in 2015, we raised $30 million from Susquehanna. And we completed 5 million work orders. In 2017, we were named top workplace back-to-back, 2017 and 18. We moved to a new office. It's actually really beautiful in downtown Minneapolis. So if you're ever there, just stop by to see our new office. 35,000 square feet. It's really, really beautiful. And this year, we'll cross our $200 million mark. So we're really, really excited about that. So what's going forward? We're growing, after 10 years later, we're still growing at 35%, 40% year over year. I realize that it's really hard when the number gets bigger, but we're still able to manage that. We're expanding a new market. We are trying to expand more in the Western Europe, new geographic areas. And we are hiring a lot of people. We are hiring a lot of people. The key point here is that we raised a lot of money, and we had a lot of people came to us when they saw us on the newspaper or Fast 500, all that. But the smartest money we have ever raised is from Ryan and Rob, hands down. And they continue, even to date, they continue to bring all sorts of amazing talents that in every point they made tremendous impact in our company. And one thing I say is that in 2015, when we started our fundraising process, there's probably 70 VC or private equity came to see us. Unfortunately, there was none of them were from Minnesota area. And it's partly because we just don't have a really good finance community, a VC community, a private equity community. And I'm really excited to see what Ryan and Rob are doing, because there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of great talent between St. Cloud, University of Minnesota, Mankato State. But because unless we can create an ecosystem, it's going to be really hard for us to build a vibrant community. And so I'm really excited to see what these guys are doing. And I am the one who benefited from their effort of not only providing the finance, but continue to bring the right people and spending hours and hours, thinking through the strategy, think about the product, think about the market. It's really, it's more than just the money. Money is green, but their money is a little bit greener, I think. So thank you, Ryan and Rob, and I'm really rooting for Great North. Thanks, everybody.